I'm a hacker, fifth day of the challenge of reach 20 of rating on CSGO, and the fifth day goes so well. I won 4 games and I lost. I only play 4 games and I won 4 games, so I'm going to show as my favorite game of the day. It's not the best, but the most interesting is a Dragon Sicilian. So let's analyze the game. I'm going to post another 2 videos of that I played yesterday because I play a match between against a Catalan legend of chess. Okay, let's analyze that. E4, I open with E4, C5, knight F3, C6, and here I choose D4. I have C3, I employ C3 in the past sometimes, but I choose this time D4, trying just to play more, yes, more aggressive, just more happier than, yes, I just trying to play aggressive to can have a good game for the video. D4, C takes, queen takes was possible too, knight D4, bishop D7, bishop D3, that's the Dragon Sicilian, knight c3, knight c6, knight c3, knight f6, bishop c4, castle, and here I failed with the move order. Here was better bishop b3. First leaving and if d6, but now knight g4 is the real threat, now f3 defending. The problem of f3 too early is that here d5 was very good for black. Or this line is possible too, queen b6, bishop b3, knight d4, knight d5, queen a5, c3 and knight c5, take, knight d7, just leave and this position is equal according to the machine. Okay, now, but my opponents play d6, just transposing to the normal lines. Okay, after, sorry, yes, a second. Yeah, after d6, I know the theory more or less. And here I play in queen d2, bishop d7, and of course I know that the long castle was the main theory. I played the Dragon Sicilian 6 years ago, from when I have 13 and 14 years old. I played during 2 years the dragon. So here I used to play rook c8, bishop b3, and the main move was knight e5, maybe king b1, and the black idea was knight c4, and white is going to attack in the king side. But I used to play knight takes d4, bishop takes d4, b5. I have many games in classical games with this line. Here knight d5 was one of the best moves and just enter in this position who is better for white, sorry. I played this against Andres Iglesias in 2019. D4 was a possibility, and here there is a trick that I made many times in a single tournament. I made twice. A4. This can work or with E4 or with H4, doesn't matter. H4, A5, and now A4 can look normal to stop my A4, but here I can simply take. It doesn't matter which piece white takes. I have the trick rook c4, b3. Sorry, here I assemble b3 and knight d4, attacking the queen and then taking on d4 with the rook. H5 was the main line. A4, bishop f6. E takes was possible this line, but I remember that with black I analyze this type of lines who always ends in a draw. Yeah, I used to analyze these lines. I remember this specific position of my analysis 6 years ago. But okay, that's with the main move with long castle. But I remember that here H4 was interesting, so I decided to play an interesting weapon against the dragon defense, this H4 move. Zero Revaliente employs against me in a Spanish Champions like 6 years ago. Rook c8, and here was better take on c6. So for that reason is that the computer plays for 95 or 94 idea. Because here after rook c8 I can take on c6 and it's not clear with which piece take with black here. Because if rook c6 there's bishop b3 and the rook also strains on c6. If bishop takes, yes, h5 and attack. And the bishop is closing the c5. And if b takes, again he closes the c5 with the pawn, so it was so strange. h5, for example, and just attack in this way. The knight e2 move always so useful because the knight is completely misplaced on c3 when black plays a pawn on e6. But okay, I play bishop b3, the standard move, h5, and here I start the sacrifice. Fischer used to say against the dragon, just sacrifice, and checkmate. And this what does I make? d4 is take, and here h5, sacrifice, doesn't matter, knight h5 and castle. Just I give 2 pawns just to open my d and h5 for the rooks to attack the black king. Okay, here knight e5 was slightly better. Knight d5, e6, f takes, knight d4, bishop d5, f6, knight f4, f takes, and knight f takes e6. It's an interesting line. It's equal, but g3 played by my opponent was fine, trying to close the g5, and here I failed with rook bg1. Knight c6 followed by rook h5 was better, and now I'm putting some problems in black position. Rook h1, queen e5, very good defensive move. Queen g2, queen e5, defending g3 and defending h5. Here f4, queen f6, finally I can take on h5, a5, a4, b5 takes, and bishop b7. And here, after very many very good moves by black, the position is equal. Knight f5 was so interesting too. Bishop takes, e takes, knight here, and bishop d5. This line was interesting. So I played rook bg1. My idea was just one moment take on h5, bishop a6, and take rook takes e3, knight d4. I take it. And here, instead of just take, I have queen h6. Interesting, threatening. Queen takes d6. I stop in this moment a little bit to try to see different lines, but I didn't manage to find that queen h6 threatening queen d6. I just think queen h6 was to sacrifice an h5 and play rook g3, but I completely forget that about the ideas of queen takes d6 with the bishop on b3. Queen e6, for example, if bishop cannot take because checkmate, and bishop d7 queen here, rook c5, and just take the piece back. And now try to check me the black king. Okay, queen d4, queen b6, queen d2, queen f2. And here again I have this idea of just take on d6, and after king e7, simply rook g5, going back and just winning the game. Hey, black still have this move to defend the checkmate, but okay, I can simply take and white is close to the win, of course. And queen a6, e6, and here I watched that rook h5 was a draw, and I realized that I haven't more in that position. I just think that, okay, rook h5 was the best move, I'm going to make a draw, because I took queen g5 and triple repetition, and okay, I thought that a draw is fine. But trying to create a great video for the channel, I decided to go for it, just play 91. Of course, I know that this move was bad, and here black is better. I know that in the game, but I just try to make something more than draw for create a good video for the channel and for the challenge. Okay, he take on f3, logical, rook h4. I don't know what I'm doing, or just try to double on the h5. h5. Here, okay, rook f1 can be a little bit better. Rook gf1, gh1, sorry. And here my opponent make a huge mistake with d2, who allows me to take on h5 with a winning position. Instead of that, he can just defend the knight, and black is winning here. So g2 is a huge blunder, because now I can take here, you take, queen h5, check. And here, I only have one problem, of course. I have a queen against a rook, so I have a winning position. My only small problem, the position, was that, okay, my opponent have a pawn on g2, who is going to promote, so I should take the pawn. But in the other hand, my opponent is threatening a4, and this bishop is trapped here. So I should think about a plan where I can take the pawn and at the same time defend the bishop, which is not so difficult, but I can manage to find the plan with a few seconds in the clock. Okay, queen e5, king e7. Here was simply like make queen takes d2, a4, and here queen e3, king e7, and bishop d5. Then the pawn is pinned. Okay, I missed this idea. I just tried to with checks to gain tempo in the clocks. In the clock, sorry. In 3. And here again I have this idea of bishop c4, followed by queen f1, and he cannot take the bishop. And again, miss this idea, and now again 5 was better here. Okay, I'm going to lose the bishop, but after, for example, if he capture here, I have queen f6, and he takes threatening checkmate on e7, unstoppable. So queen h4 here, and Okay, I have this idea. And here I completely collapse with few seconds and I start to make many bad moves. Like, okay, here mm, I make this move, for example, I start to blunder many times. Queen c2 again, he can take my queen. And here again, I have b5, good move. Queen d3, rook g3. This part is not so important because we blunder many times and there are just seconds in the clock. So the most important part was the fire who happened in the opening and to to learn how to play against the dragon Sicilian. Okay, here queen d4 of course, but here I just miss the queen. And incredibly, I won this game. You are going to think, okay, you lost the game, but no. I won this game with a exchange down and a pawn down in an endgame with only the knight. Let's see how I. Okay, here black have 4 pawns and I only have 3 pawns. Okay, let's see how I eat the 4 pawns without lose any pawns for me. Well, we are having 3 pawns against 0, and now I start with 3 pawns against 4. Okay, knight a5. He defends all this pawn. Okay, he's playing well. He got my king. He just tried to active his king. Okay, he gave me the first pawn to active the king. Okay, normal. Now the second victim, and now the position now is equal. Because it's not only about the pawn, but the black king is so far on f3 of his own pawns. And now I active my king, and here I just take his pawns and I just win the game. So very funny game. It's not a perfect game, of course. It's a bad game. But okay, to be a 3+2 blitz game was interesting and was fine to learn how to play against the dragon. I'm going to post another video about the fifth day of the challenge, but it's not going to be in the series of the challenge. It's just a match of 2 games that I play against a Catalan legend. So let's see the following videos. Bye bye, motherfuckers.